Hi guys, Dorothy here at Done by Dorothy, and we are here today finishing up our Touch of Nature journal. We got the outside finished, and we're working on the inside. So I already put my lace between my signatures here, and working on this. I've already glued it down, and I had recording issues, so I had to re-record. So I'm sorry if you missed that, but what I like to do, especially if they have like the sides that stick up there, is I'll go at the base of my signature page and put just a little, not a lot, just enough to sort of tack it down right along the side here. I need to use my ruler. It works really well, I find, for this. And I just slide my hole in there and then just sort of crease all the way down. It sort of gives it that natural lace. And I'm sorry if there's a lag. It just seems to be the thing tonight. So that glues that down. I already glued my front piece in the front. I still have the back to do, so you'll get to see me do that. I've glued this in, and now I'm working on putting my lace in here, and this will scoot all the way up. And I actually have a little of an overhang on each side just because I sort of like that. So I am going to put glue right here along the edge. I do it, about probably 1/4 of an inch thick, because I'm going to sort of use this as a tuck. So I want to make sure that I have a nice amount of glue for it to adhere to, or, then you're just wasting your time and it's going to come loose anyway. So again, I'm going to make sure I have a nice amount. And again, that 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch or so, something like that, whatever you feel comfortable with. Then I'm just going to sort of even this up and push it sort of up under the signature a tad bit. And I'm going to revert back to my ruler because I find it really good for just pushing that back up underneath there. And it can get up, in those little small places where my fingers can't. Then I'm going to come through and I'm going to tack my lace down, and I want to make sure that I have it pulled tight enough that if I put something in there, it'll hold. So there we go. Put that in there. Okay. And then I actually have some of these that I printed off, and what I'm going to do, if I can find my scissors, I'll have to use my small, I'll have to use my small scissors. I'm just going to cut it out, and I want this to sort of be like stationary. And again, these are just some of the full pages that I cut out. I'm just going to trim these sides up a bit. I should have used my cutter, or even, I could. Let me push my book to the side here. I'm just going to flip this around this way. I'm going to hold this down, this end, then a little bit with my ruler, just hold secured, and just so that'll make it go a little faster. And again, I'm just going to barely cover the edge so the white part doesn't show through. And because this is coffee and tea dyed, I'm not even, I guess I'll ink around the edges, but I'm not going to have to worry about adding any distress to the inside or any stain in it or anything. Unless you want to make it, give it that darker look. And if you rip off a little piece, just pull it down. And because you're ripping, you can do that. So I find if it's a small piece, sometimes I tear by hand. Okay, let me grab my ink. Cover where I ripped For some of it shows through a little bit lighter. Again, you don't do that. If you want to add that distress, for that, add that distress decal type edge to it. And then, on the back, if you want to run on the edges, you can. Again, that's something you don't have to. That's sort of a personal preference. Or if you set your printer to print borderless, like you do with the photo, and you've coffee dyed your paper ahead of time, because I coffee dyed this paper and then ran it through my printer. So had I have coffee dyed it and ran it as borderless, I could have, just pulled it out and folded it and it had been done. So then I'm just going to fold this. I'm not even really, it's sort of crooked because of this, the way that I think I want the bird on the outside just because I think the bird's cute. And I think the little flowers on here will really match. And again, you can go through and distress the folded edge if you want. You don't have to. I like doing that just because I think it looks really cool when you open it versus if it's not. Especially like on the insides, because the insides are so drab and blank, which you could stencil through here if you want to. Again, I like to sort of, let me pull my back out of the way. I sort of like, especially if I've coffee dyed it, because you sort of get that wrinkly, bumpy effect. I just run my blending tool. I'm not even pushing, I'm just gliding it across. And it just sort of adds a little bit of color to the page without actually having to take the time to stencil or anything. You see it sort of adds that like bleached parchment effect. And see, I like having the folds in there. So you have a place to, and I like that because that gives you a big amount of room to be able to journal in. And that just slides in there and holds. So, I mean, you could put your book plate on here. I mean, design your insides and outsides however you want. I may go through eventually and add a pocket. Sometimes it just sort of depends on, what I want to do. So, on the back, again, I've already inked this, so I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac since I already have it out. And I know a lot of you guys are wondering about the recipe journal. We are getting ready to start that. I was planning on starting it tonight. And again, like I said earlier, I've had to redo this several times to be able to record, which isn't cool when you're working on a finished journal. So you end up with a couple trying to keep up with, where it'll show. And again, I'm just going to make sure that I have a small sort of frame around the outside with the edge and make sure it's sort of even and not crooked like I just did. There we go. And I cut that sort of crooked. Oh, nope, I've just laid it in there crooked. And the one good thing about the Fabri-Tac is it does give you time that you can move it around if you want to. That looks better. I think I've just cut it crooked. Which is really weird because I cut this on a flat cutter. Okay, well, we'll do it this way. If it's cut a little crooked, you can that. Then again, I'm going to go along the edges and across the bottom so I can put my lace down because I'm putting lace in the front and the back. And because there are so many like full page photos like on this, in the front of signatures and throughout the signatures, I want to put another tuck with the lace across there. Excuse me, I am so sorry about that. we went from 60-degree weather to 30-degree weather. And my allergies and sinuses just do not like it when it does that. Which, I mean, I know a lot of people are like that. A lot of people are suffering from allergies and stuff on top of everything else. And the stomach flu and stuff like that. We just went through bouts of the stomach flu here. It's just been crazy. Okay, then I have a couple of these little they're just like little stationery papers. So I'm going to ink them up. And I've missed, like our Friday night PJ party and, the wonderful Wednesdays. Of course, our internet's been crazy too with everybody home. So we are trying to hopefully be back full functioning this week. So there's that one. And that'll blend in with that peach just perfectly. That in there. And then I'm going to use this one because I want to just use the same lined paper. And again, like I said, we're down to the final touches on this. So there's not a lot to do. It's just that little bit to add to the end. And like I said, tomorrow we will launch our recipe journal. I'll be pulling pages and putting our signatures together. And all that stuff. Okay, so we'll just put those two papers in there like that. Slid in there so that does inside back cover. I'm pretty happy with this through here. I was going to put more tabs on it, but I think I sort of like the 3 tabs, one for each signature. I don't want to make it too bulky. It's already starting to get, we got some width to it. So I did decide that I wanted to use just a lace tie around closure. I love doing tie around closures. But I really enjoy that. So my closure. Oh, before I do that, let's go here. I did want to do a bookmark, sort of like a bookmark, because I'm not doing the charms through the middle. I have this piece of, it's just natural twine. And let me find, I have this really, really cute owl. And we do have a lot of owls, in here. So I thought it would be really cute. And it's sort of a big charm I thought would be really cute to hang over the spine of the book. So I'm actually going to, there's a little ring on top of the big heavy duty metal ring, but actually since it's going to be on the spine hanging down, I want more support. So I'm going to take the little jump ring off. This is just, sometimes you can get these closed back up, sometimes you can't. Yeah, this one's not gonna close. Okay, and then so instead of that, just a jump ring, it has that solid piece that's actually attached to the owl, which I think gives it more support in my mind. So I'm going to string it on there, just like if you were like making a necklace or something like that. And I want to pull him down to the center. Then I'm going to knot. Well, yeah, I'm going to put a knot there. So I'm going to knot him just up above, and it doesn't even have to be down by, I just sort of left a little room so he could dangle around. Then on each end of this, I have these little wooden beads, and I thought if I can find another one in here that I really like, oh, that one will work. I'm going to use these 2 little wooden beads. What ones? Let's use the 2 lighter ones. And I'm just going to push that up through there if I can get it up through there. Hopefully I can. Yeah, it's almost there. You know what, let me grab, oh wait a minute, there it is. So let me grab my awl. Or a poke. Some people call them pokey tools, but I actually call them an awl because that's what they actually are. AWL. So if you're ever looking for one, you can't just look up pokey tools. You're not going to find it. Okay, and I'm going to leave a little bit hanging from the bottom. Not a lot, but just a little bit. I'll try to get up here so you guys can see. Just a little bit. I'm going to tighten it down. And then I like coming right of it. And if you just hold your, and that sort of locks it into place so it'll stay there. Okay. And then I'm going to come up here, do another knot. These don't matter if they're the same length. This one's a tad bit longer than the other one. It doesn't matter. And you can do this with any kind of thread, any kind of yarn, anything like that. Just a little bit more. I don't know if I can. Sometimes you can push it from behind. It usually pulls better if you try to push it from behind. You end up sort of separating all your little strands, and I don't like to doing that. Okay, let's see a little bit. But with knotting it from the end, it makes a big difference too. So we just got to get a little bit out here. And again, this was twine, so it's a little harder to get. And then since this is a little longer, I'm going to go ahead and try to tie my knot at the bottom here. Okay. So that puts my beads on it. And if you or and you want to trim that up so it's about, it ends the same length, then you can. Okay, and then I wanted this to sort of be a freestanding bookmark. So I'm just going to find my middle signature on my first one. Put it there. And then the middle on my end, my last signature, because we have 3 signatures. And I'm going to put that through there. And then that'll just sort of let the owl just sort of hang off the end. And you'll have your beads at the bottom as a bookmark, but you can actually move them around to where you want them to be to mark where you're at. You don't have to separate them. You can get them both in the same spot if you want to. I just sort of like having them in 2 separate signatures. So we have that. So now grab my closure ribbon lace that I'm using. I loved this lace. I think the pastel just goes really, really well. I do have the owl hanging down on the spine. I am not putting, oops, I'm sorry, I hit my camera. I am not putting anything on my front. I just love the way that this leather turned out. So I don't want to do that. I don't even want to put, I was going to put the metal book corners. I don't want to put that because I love that old ledger look that it really got. So, that's ideas for your cover. You can do that. You can decorate your cover. Sometimes I like decorating my covers. Sometimes I'll do them a lot. My recipe journal will have a lot of stuff on the cover because I sort of already have it planned in my head. But this one I sort of liked the more wholesome look, I guess, the more natural look without all of the stuff. And the little bow just, I think on the corner accents it really good. And then I had this charm that I had made before. This is one of the little like alligator type clips. And it's just got 3 pieces of this 1/4 inch ribbon. Where this usually has like a swirly thing that hangs down. I just took it and wrapped it and made a circle and clipped it. And then tied, like I said, 3 pieces of the ribbon on here. And then just, tied a bead at the top. And then this is one of the little metal, let me see if I can, well, let me see, I think I might have, let's see, you can use different things. Like if you didn't have one of these little clips, you could use one of the little binder clips, one of the little mini clips by Ranger. And then I just used one little, let me try to turn over, you can see it, one of the little hook and eye, like bead things for your bead tassels. It's I consider mine. And then I ran 4 of the little green glass beads through it. And then there's a little tree, and there's a rose, and a little turtle. And then it's got the wooden beads, and then it's got the green glass beads on it too. And I actually like it just clipped right here on my ribbon, sort of dangling over the side with my ribbon. It sort of falls down in the front, just like the ribbon closures do. And this, I usually try to cut sort of off even. Doesn't have to be exact, but just sort of even, right like that. So you've got your ribbon closure, and then it's got the ribbons and the beads that hang off the corner. And I sort of like that. I thought it was sort of different than the traditional, charms hanging from the inside. And then we've got the owl on the side, and of course it's got lace wrapped all around it. So that's what the final looks like. So I wanted it to have sort of that more naturey, wholesome look without as much lace maybe as it normally would have, because I didn't want to take away from the closure. But there is lace and stuff inside, and you could always go through and add more lace if you want to. I mean, that's, sort of up to each individual and what they want. If you want, something naturey or, that type of thing. So there you go, guys. That is it. So I really like the way that it turned out. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me pop this off really fast. I might just tie that, and we'll do a flip through real fast. It opens. Of course, we have our stationery tuck there. We've got our cat. We've got there our little notebook. Lots of room for journaling. Vintage book on, or pamphlet on raising earthworms for profit. Field notes bird record sheet. Of course, lots of digital images, envelopes, again with stationery in there that you can write on. Just little tucks that you can write on, and lots of places to glue things and add to it. Some little tags, lace, some index cards, a journaling card with a lot of the acrylic ink paints, some die cuts, vintage nature books. Of course, that's a scanned copy and a journal card made from the eclectic readers, the McGuffey readers. Some vintage copied vintage postcards that are redone. Some tags, another book page, digital journaling page, vintage nature book. Again, some vintage labels, some metallic and blue ink sprays, vintage nature book, texture paste, doily, some vintage book pages. Again, that's the other side of that. Playing card, scrap of page or doilies. There's vintage lace. Again, flip out some washi, some tags. And yeah, there's a little place to journal. Little tab to tuck in there. Pictures of bears on it. Vintage garden page. Again, little taggy tucks. Little mini postcard journal. I'm not going to unwrap that, but there. Another nature book page. Vintage, not vintage. Digital with some coffee dyed paper. And then another tag. Some vintage. Oh my gosh. Anyway, some vintage lace. This is some newer lace, but this is actually vintage. And I'll think of the word in a minute. And there's another page out of that worm book. And a little tuck. Some lace. Again, little envelopes tied in. This painted. Little tuck. Again, there's the thing about constellations and spiders. Little tuck, a little die cut. Vintage playing card, a little tuck in it. And this opens up and folds out into a little hidden journaling spot. A vintage postcard, a vintage order form. Again, a little tuck. This opens up and flips out to give you more journaling space. We try to put lots of journaling space in here. Of course, that's just a tag on a vintage nature book. Some paint. Again, some more tags. Vintage postcard. Little poem on there. Again, little tuck there. Little tuck there. And this is out of an animal book. Digital postcard, and this has got our Touch of Nature digitals in it. You can find them at the Done by Dorothy Etsy store. Again, vintage flower, little tag tuck, and there are 3 signatures. An envelope. You can put stuff in there. Some die cut. It has some of the embossing powder by Tim Holtz. Vintage flower page. Again, there's a little sort of hidden journaling area. Some vintage nature pages. Some washi postcard. That's a Tim Holtz die cut. A friend might well be reckoned the masterpiece of nature, and some washi. And again, we just tried to put a lot of, there's a little vintage ASL card, or American Sign Language card. There's some stenciling there and some spray paint. Another little envelope tuck. Another one of those field observation pages. And some blank pages to journal in. Cheesecloth. Vintage nature page. A nature page. There's some stencil spray. Some little tags in there with some vintage binding cloth. Cheesecloth. Piece of a little vintage doily. Butterfly page. Here's our ghost spray from where we did our flowers. Another vintage page. Another little tucks in there. Lots of little tucks. Another little invertebrate checklist. Another little flip out with some spray and some fabric washi. Another little envelope clipped in. And again, the envelopes all have little stationery pages in them. A little tag with some washi. It's a big wrap page. This is a part of that earthworm page with some fabric washi and some lace. There's Battenberg lace. That's what the other thing was too. Again, some little vintage laces that's been dyed and stuff layered up on there, and that's a little tag, little vintage page, some washi, little ticket, little spray painted page, a vintage nature page, and there's some spray, and then of course our little stationery pages back here. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That's our Touch of Nature journal. Again, I hope you enjoyed walking step by step through with us as we made it. I really, really, really enjoyed making it. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment. Of course, like, subscribe, comment, all that normal stuff that you do if you like a channel and you want to see stuff from them again. And again, we'll be starting our recipe journal. We've been going through some, different ideas of things to do and all of that. And we do have some more things coming up, and we've added some other stuff. Make sure to check our Facebook page for lots of stuff on there, daily Monday, Mixed Media Monday and Tag Tuesday and Washi Wednesday and Thrifty Thursday and Freebie Friday. You get free digitals on Friday. Every Friday there are free digitals uploaded. Usually, they vary in numbers. Saturday is Share It Saturday, so you can share, whatever you've made that week. If you have, a Facebook, Etsy, YouTube, that type of thing, you can share links. There's a specific post for links. There's a specific post for just sharing projects. And it'll say on there which one it is. And then we have Say It Sunday, where a word will be thrown out and you use that word to create something. You use that word as your inspiration to create something. So, lots of stuff going on in our Facebook group. So if you aren't a member there, make sure you go over and check it out. And we will be, of course, we have our Wonderful Wednesday Lives with me and Penny. And so we will be doing those on Wednesdays, and we have a pajama party Friday. Now that things are starting to calm down again and we're not ill and the internet seems to be somewhat being a little bit nicer, we'll get back to doing those. Some sort of different things like that, as well as, just individual videos. Then we're going to be working on our journal together again, the step by step, just like we've been doing, except instead of going one journal per month, I think we're going to start a journal and we'll just work through it till we finish it. Then we'll start the next one. It may not be month to month, so we may, one journal may take 2 weeks and another journal may take 4.5 weeks or whatever. Just because by doing it 30 days, sometimes I think we'd limit ourselves on what we do or how we want to do it. So that is something we do. We do have several really, really awesome journals coming up. I've been sick this past week, so I've spent the week planning and I have tons of notes and tons of things I've been doing, working on some kits. I have listed some new kits on our Etsy shop. Make sure you check out the Done by Dorothy Etsy shop. If you go to our YouTube channel, at the very top banner, the Done by Dorothy banner across the top, there is a link to our Etsy store and our Facebook page up there. So, if you don't want to go digging for where it's at or searching, just click those little, squares at the top. It'll take you directly there. So you guys have a great day, and we will see you again next time. Thanks for joining in. We'll be excited, and we will be back to start our recipe journal and all of that. So we will have a preview and, the initial starting part of that tomorrow. So please stay tuned for that tomorrow. We will see you later, and have a great day and stay safe. Stay healthy. Bye.